Hello, welcome Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 30, Civil Society Movements and Grassroots Initiative, let us start our lecture with topic Relationship between NGO and the government. The relationship between NGO and the government has been rather very complex in recent years. While on the one hand there has been more and more recognition and encouragement for NGOs activism by the government, there have been severe criticism of the government agencies by the NGO for their rigid bureaucratic and traditional outlook. The government has also been trying to make the NGOs accountable to it and to the law of the land, to ensure transparency in financial dealing, etc. The NGOs are also trying to make government officials accountable to the people, to ensure impartial functioning of state organs at the grassroots level. However, notwithstanding the contradictory position, there have been several areas of cooperation between the government and NGO. NGOs are mostly working on a legalized issue and on a small scale. The state policies on area development, desert development, tribal development, women development, etc., which are addressed at the local level, need a vast body of local input and resources. The experience and expertise of the localized NGO usually come to help in a big way for the successful implementation of these policies. Again, the NGOs also formulate innovative projects on these issues, receiving expert help from government agencies. According to the estimate, there are over 30,000 NGOs in India. The Indian state has initially indifferent, if not hostile to NGO activism. The situation has changed since the 8th Five-Year Plan 1992-1997, and now the government openly encourages the participation of NGO in the development sphere. However, NGO's relationship with the state has widely been dichotomous in nature. Though many of them supplement government plans and programs, they are also simultaneously critical of government policies. Again, while on the one hand they have been defined in terms of negation of the state, on the other hand they have remained widely dependent on the state for funds. Policies of NGOs are also at times guided and framed by the state policies. In recent decades, there have been a process of internationalization of NGOs activism. While working on local and national issues, the NGOs have started getting serious attention and recognition from international agencies. At the international level, many NGOs also take part in the transnational campaign against various social evils like drug addiction, poverty, illiteracy, HIV/AIDS, child abuse, women's rights, environment protection, disarmament, violation of human rights, etc. NGOs also educate people in influencing government policies on several international issues. In the process of undertaking all these initiatives, NGOs have been part of global networking. Over the years, there has been a phenomenal growth in the transaction NGO, with more working at the global level with larger issues. One of the reasons for such growth has been the crisis in the state caused by massive state deficits, financial crisis, and economic restructuring. As the state functioning is going to be restructured along the lines of the corporate market model, and it is also withdrawing from the social sector, NGOs are emerging as important stakeholders and providers of services to the marginalized people. In the developing country, many NGO function by receiving funds from the foreign agencies. There has also been a tendency to ignore the law of the land by these NGOs. Here, serious questions are raised not only by academicians and policy planners but also by the common people on their accountability and mode of spending. Now let us move to the next point, marginalization and the marginalized people. In developing countries like India, civil societies like NGO play a crucial role for the social development of the marginalized people. Again, these groups of the people have also developed a sense of expectation from the NGOs as the state-sponsored development initiatives have miserably failed to elevate their status in the society. As discussed in the earlier section, in the contemporary development discourse, the concept of an empowerment of the marginalized has got a special focus, and civil society initiatives have been given an emphasis. As the role of civil society has acquired a special significance for the social development and the empowerment of the marginalized people, and it has developed a substantive relationship with them. Let us discuss first who are the marginalized people and how the developmental processes have contributed to their marginalization in society. Marginalization is conventional parlance is a complex process of re-legitimate specific of people to the lower or outer edge of society. It effectively pushes these groups of people to the margin of the society economically, politically, culturally, and socially, following the parameter of exclusion and inclusion. Sociologically, there are several important dimensions of marginalization, and one is to understand it in the large context. That is, dimensions of denials and deprivations. The process of marginalization economically denies a large section of society equal access to productive resources, avenues for the realization of their productive human potential, and opportunities of their full capacity utilization. These denials ultimately push these populations to the state of rampant poverty, human misery, devaluation of their work, low wage and wage discrimination, casualization in the workforce, and livelihood insecurity. Thus, they are provided with very limited space for upward occupational and social mobility and are excluded from the range of economic opportunities and choices. Politically, this process of relegation denies these people equal access to the formal power structure and participation in the decision-making processes, leading to their subordination to and dependence on the economically and politically dominant group of the society. Politically, they emerge to be the underdogs, underrepresented, and semi-powered. In the continuous process of this relegation, they emerge to be culturally excluded from the mainstream of the society, becoming part society with part culture, outside from within, alienated and disintegrated. They eventually get a stigmatized cultural existence as ascribed low social status and become the victims of cultural segregation. As a consequence of the economic, political and cultural deprivation, a vast chunk of the population of the country has emerged to be socially ignorant, illiterate, uneducated and dependent. Deprived of the basic necessities of life, they are relegated to live on the margins of the society with a subhuman existence. Now the next point is artificial structure of hierarchy. Indeed, marginalization is a man-made and socially structured process which is permeated and continuously reproduced on the basis of an unequal relationship of dependency and domination. In this coexistence, even the natural differentiation between the men and women, linguistic or ethnic groups, and so on are put in an order of hierarchy with the guiding principle of domination and subordination. This process of creating hierarchy has arranged social groups in steep ordering of people, with a powerful few at the social and economic command deciding the mainstream of the society, polity, and the economy. On the other hand, within the same arrangement, the vast majority has remained powerless, occupying the bottom of the socio-economic hierarchy and surviving at the periphery of the social order. Now the next point is basis of legitimacy and reproduction. The process of marginalization has also been historically embedded in a socio-cultural context. Significantly, there are strong institutional, normative, and ideological bases stemming from the pre-modern interpretation of the institutional and normative arrangements of the caste, ethnicity, race, gender, patriarchy, religion, and so on, to provide legitimacy to processes of marginalization. Again, the ongoing processes of socialization, education, politicization, and culturalization, etc., contribute to their reproduction in the society. Thus, over a period of time, the socially constructed marginalized categories tend to appear to be the empirical categories, the low caste, tribes, women, blacks, and so on. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.